What's going on, people? What is happening? I know. It's been a long time since I sat down and done one of these. Big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. I am so sorry for my absence, guys. I don't know if I have to give you guys an explanation, but I've still been uploading videos. I just haven't done a stream. I think the last time I did a stream was a watch along for Man United Women, which was about a month ago. I'm so sorry. Truth is, guys, I just have not been up to doing streams, but I want to get back into it and be consistent with it. So we're back today because so much is happening in the world of football. I mean, even when United is not playing, like, by the way, guys, yeah, I didn't know what Ruben Amorim said in his press conference until this morning, right? Even though I saw that it was embargoed until last night. So I just woke up this morning and I went on my phone and I was just catching up with news, and then I went on Twitter, and that's where I saw it. I saw the meltdowns. I saw the meltdowns all over social media about what Ruben Amorim said, and I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie, it shocked me a little bit, but then it didn't at the same time. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about all the Manchester United transfer news. As always, Daily Dose is going to be back. We'll be back here every single day, at least 3 times a week. So on the days that I can't, when I got to shoot, then I'll try my best to upload a video, of course, to replace that. But we've got so much. I think we have so much to talk about because Manchester United play again tonight, Monday Night Football. But it seems like the biggest conversation, Kobbie Mainoo. The biggest conversation is Kobbie Mainoo. I'm pretty sure now Ruben Amorim is probably like fed up of all the questions that come his way in the press conference. But I don't think he's ever going to escape it. I really don't think he's going to ever escape these conversations. I mean, it's come to a point now where he says in the press conferences to like journalists and that, like, oh, you guys love Kobbie Mainoo. Like, I don't have to, but you guys love him. As if it's a bad thing. But I also think the Kobbie Mainoo situation is bigger than Kobbie Mainoo not playing. I think there's a bigger context that needs to be discussed around it. So we need to do that. So be sure to hit the like button. Like I said, be sure to subscribe as well if you're new here. Now, if you haven't seen, and that's what we're going to start with, if you ain't seen it, we're going to dissect and break down all the comments from Ruben Amorim in his embargoed press conference, because it wasn't just Kobbie Mainoo that he spoke about. He spoke about quite a couple of people, which is interesting to me because some of the people he mentioned, nobody asked about them. So like the questions was, there was a question about Kobbie Mainoo, and then he went on a talk about Collier and Casemiro and Amas and Chido. Nobody asked about any of them. Nobody. And also it's just opened up a can of worms. Like, genuinely speaking, it's opened up a can of worms because now, you know, I've seen Harry Amas posting something on his Instagram, which he now took down. I'm seeing JJ Gabriel's dad posting something last night, which sounds like it's an indirect. I think there is, and I said this, yeah, back when Marcus Rashford was, the situation between Ruben Amorim and Marcus Rashford was unfolding. And it was exactly this time last year. I said that Marcus Rashford and Ruben Amorim situation, the demise of it, is going to have a domino effect on the academy situation at Manchester United. And it's just got worse. It's just got worse. There's nothing different right now that Ruben Amorim has said or implied about Kobbie Mainoo or Chido or Harry Amas, etc., that he never did about Marcus Rashford. And when it was Marcus Rashford, everybody lapped it up because everyone was sick and tired of Marcus Rashford. You know, some of the fans wanted him to go. You know, people were not impressed with, you know, the Belfast situation and, you know, him on the pitch and not performing 100%, etc., etc. People were happy to take Amorim's side. Now, when it's a player that people like or a player that people think hasn't got a fair chance, suddenly it's, oh, Amorim's wrong for this. He was wrong for it when he did it to Marcus Rashford, and it's wrong now, because when Ruben Amorim came into Manchester United, one of the first things that he said in his press conferences was like, listen, I'm never going to throw my players under the bus. He said, I will throw myself before I throw a player under the bus. But he's publicly criticized players, and I tweeted about it earlier today, and then I just stopped I don't read my replies. I read it once and then I don't read it at all. And some people weren't happy with what I said. I was just laughing, but I think it sets a bad precedent when you publicly undermine and criticize academy players. Like, for me, I think academy players should be treated somewhat differently to your more senior players, because they are not people that are exposed to consistent football. They're not exposed to regular media. So when you have a question pop up about them, in the press conference. I don't think you should use that as an opportunity to slate them. Rather, I think you should use that as the opportunity to uplift them, especially if it's a player like Harry Amas who's on loan. And also, I think it's a transliteration problem, because I think Ruben Amorim, I understood what he wanted to say about Amas. It's just the way that he said it was completely wrong. He probably wanted to say that Sheffield Wednesday were poor this season and struggling this season, which is true. But he said Harry Amas is, which is not true. And I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to see the situation from both sides. And what annoys me the most, guys, and I'm going to get to your comments before I start reading out the quotes. What annoys me the most about this situation, it's not about Kobbie Mainoo. It's not about Ruben Amorim. It's the fact that everybody in the fan base believe you either have to be on one side or the other. I can agree with, the fact that Ruben Amorim, what he's saying is wrong, but there's some things that he's saying which is right. But then I can also agree with the way that he's handling it is not right. Like, people assume because you are not happy with what the manager has said, people assume, well, you're part, like, we're part of the problem with siding with the players. No one's siding with the players. I just don't want the manager to publicly undermine the players, especially not the younger players. I don't care about the academy players. Most of them are overhyped. It doesn't matter the formation they play today. If they play with intensity and do the basics, they will win. I think formation is very important. I think this idea that it doesn't matter what formation United play, I think that's a coping mechanism for people to believe that this system is going to work. Formation is very important, because when you are playing with 3 defenders and 2 wide players, and you're coming up against an attacking front 5 or an attacking front 4, and you have one player that can't defend, you have 3 people playing in the centre back roles, out of possession, or in possession, sorry, you got your wide centre backs with the ball. The system only works when spaces open up. And how do the spaces open up? When the opponent presses. If the opponent presses and they sit off, which is what Everton have done, other teams, West Ham did it as well, when they sit off Luke Shaw, or they sit off the centre-back on the right-hand side, you got nothing. You got nothing in build-up. So I do think it is 100%, the formation is as important as, the system, quotation marks. But also, guys, I'm also sick of those buzzwords. And Ahmad news is legit. Laurie Whitwell just tweeted. We'll come to that. We'll come to that in a bit. Thank you, Ridwan. Let's go through what Amorim said. So one of the first things he spoke about was former Manchester United players talking. Obviously, we've seen a lot of former Man United players speaking over the last couple of weeks. Rio, one of them. Rio was one of them. Nicky Butt was one of them. Scholes was one of them. Amorim said, and they're specifically speaking about the situation with Kobbie Mainoo. And Ruben Amorim says, not winning is the issue. If I'm winning, I can go to the games on a horse, arrive there, play with just 2 defenders, and everything will be fine. Brother, I don't know what you're talking about. But he's right. If Ruben Amorim and Manchester United were flying, if we were playing consistently good football, nobody would be here indulging in conversations about who's playing and who's not playing and what he's saying in a press conference. Like, I genuinely don't think people would care. This conversation, this situation, this the comments made by the manager in the press conference, for me, is taking away from the bigger conversation, which is the results. He then went on to say, he was asked about whether he rates Kobbie Mainoo. He went on to say, of course, but in the end, it's going to be the training, the games. Of course, he's not playing so many games, but Kobbie has had opportunities, especially last year. Everyone has. Then he went on to say, Amas is now struggling in the championship. Chido is not always a starter in the under-21. All these guys played when a lot of people were saying sack the manager. So you can see I'm not worried. I just want to win. And if he's the right guy, I will put him in. See, this part I feel is a bit it's disingenuous, I think, a little bit, because saying that Chido played, Amas played, Mainoo played when people were saying sack the manager. Okay, what about the people that played a lot of minutes when we were saying sack the manager and are still playing till today? What about that? He used Casemiro as an example, by the way, he used Casemiro as an example and how he basically got his way into the first team, and referenced Collier as well. Casemiro should have never been benched. He just wasn't. The manager didn't prefer him. He started giving him little minutes here and there, and Ugarte was playing throughout majority of the time when Ruben Amorim first became Manchester United manager. And that's why I feel like it's not just Amas who played when people were saying sack the manager. It wasn't just Kobbie Mainoo who played. It wasn't just Chido who played. You are picking on the younger players that have probably played the least minutes out of all the outfield players. What about all the outfield players that played thousands and thousands of minutes of Premier League football who played a part in the whole sack the manager situation? Why is it you don't publicly criticize them? You don't publicly criticize Diogo Dalot. You don't publicly criticize Ugarte. You publicly criticize Patrick Dorgu, talking about how he gets nervous in front of goal, which I see it a little bit. I just the academy situation for me just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Using the excuse that, oh, they played when you guys wanted me sacked. It's like here you go, man. That's the kind of situation that resonates with me. Like, he's just saying, oh, here you go. Look, see, I played them and you lot still want me sacked. I think people wanted you sacked because of the results. Because of the results. I saw a stat that said Manchester United, how many clean sheets do we have, guys? I think we got 8 under Ruben Amorim. And I saw a stat that said Nottingham Forest have 6 under Sean Dyche already. That's a conversation for another day. If that was the case, that whole team shouldn't be playing them because they all played during that period. I agree. I totally agree with that. He then went on to say, Kobbie Mainoo plays in the same position as Bruno Fernandes and it's difficult to take him off the team, which again, I think is disingenuous. The reason why I say that is because I've watched the last 4 or so games that Kobbie Mainoo has come on. He's never come on for Bruno Fernandes. He's always come on for Casemiro. So Kobbie Mainoo is not in direct competition with Bruno Fernandes. He's not in direct, because Bruno Fernandes doesn't come off. And if he does come off, in the very, very rare instance he comes off, Kobbie Mainoo is not coming on for him. He's not coming on for him. Now, the argument that I've seen a lot of people have is, should Kobbie start over Casemiro? No, they should start together. Because Bruno, I think, is good in central midfield, but he's not the central midfielder that Manchester United need. My ideal world, and we're going to come to it when we talk about this 4-3-3 situation, is the 3 of them playing together, which we've seen before in the past at Manchester United. What else did Ruben Amorim say? Sorry. He did reference about the 2 midfielder situation. He said, the problem is that we're playing with 2 midfielders and you guys see Kobbie in a different way to what I'm seeing. Maybe if you play with 3 midfielders, not with just 2, but with 3, Kobbie will have more minutes. Imagine that this happens. He then was he was asked about the centre-back situation. What I want to show you guys actually is this clip, because I want you guys, before we delve into it, I want you lot to hear exactly what he said regarding the presser. Here it is.
Is now struggling and in championship. Shido is not always a starter in the under 21. All these guys played when a lot of people were saying sack the manager. So you can see that I'm not worried. In that time, all everybody. So I'm not.
Let's rewind that.
Amas is now struggling and in championship. Shido is not always a starter in the under 21. All these guys played when a lot of people were saying sack the manager. So you can see that I'm not worried. In that time, all everybody. So I'm not here.
Oof. It's the laugh for me, guys. It is the laugh. It's the laugh for me. Anyways, I just think with this quickly, just before we get on to other stuff, because there's so much other stuff to talk about. I think this takes away from the bigger conversation. Why laughing? What? Why is he laughing? I don't know. He's allowed to laugh. I don't know what that laugh was from him. I don't know if it's like a uncomfortable laugh or awkward laugh. Is it a laugh where he's like, yeah, I don't know what that laugh was. It's the same laugh that he did. It's a similar laugh that he did when, I think it was last week, when they were asking him about Kobbie and he just went on a rant. Listen, I get it. Ruben Amorim is probably fed up of all these questions every week, every press conference, questions and questions and questions about Kobbie Mainoo. I get it. He's probably tired of it. He probably wants people to hear. He probably wants people or journalists to keep to ask more relevant questions. But the reason why I think this Kobbie Mainoo situation we're analyzing last now. That made me laugh, I can't lie. The reason why I think this Kobbie Mainoo situation is bigger than what it is, it's not, for me, it's not about whether Kobbie is good enough or not. Like, I've watched Kobbie Mainoo. We've all watched Kobbie Mainoo, right? I'm shocked at people whose opinions have changed quite rapidly on Kobbie Mainoo. It's gone from Kobbie being a generational talent 2 seasons ago to suddenly, oh, he's slow. Yeah, clearly the manager doesn't like him for a reason. Like, we saw what we saw from Kobbie Mainoo, and I refuse to ever be gaslit into believing that I didn't see what we saw from Kobbie Mainoo, right? But the bigger conversation here, nobody would be talking about this. No one would talk about Chido, Collier, Amas, Mainoo, etc. if United didn't have the 12 months that they did under Ruben Amorim. And I think he knows it too. That's why he said it. He said, if I'm winning, nobody's asking me these questions, which is true. In that case, just win. Win games and win it consistently, win it with good performances, win it with confident performances, win it by executing what it is you aim to do. And I will be honest, guys, listen, I will be so honest with you. And this is just my opinion, right? But if Ruben Amorim came out today and said, I told X player in my starting 11 to do X, Y, Z, and he didn't do it in game, and that cost us, and that's why we don't play the way that I'm trying to play, I'll be like, you know what? Okay, cool. Fair enough. You're actually trying to implement that. But it seems like when he criticizes people publicly, and I've only really seen him criticize Rashford, the people that have been referenced in this press conference, and Dorgu. That's really the only people I've seen him publicly name in his press conferences. If today he said, I can't play with my attacking wing backs because Diogo Dalot is struggling. Now, I saw this report about Diogo Dalot today that he wasn't happy about being dropped, but he's been working one-to-one with Amorim's coaching staff to improve his positions, and it shows in the games because he's got a goal and an assist so far. And I even noticed it too. Now, I'm not saying if you throw one player under the bus, you should throw them all. But I just don't know why it's the ones who I would say are defenseless. Because to an extent they are. I saw people pulling up Harry Amas's stats in the championship, saying he got 1 goal and 1 assist. How are you judging Harry Amas on GA to prove that you agree with what the manager has said about him? That's the point that we're getting to in the fan base. And it really worries me. It really, really scares me that I have never seen a clear divide like this. You know, like previous managers, yeah? I would say with Erik ten Hag, when it was bad, right? When it was really, really bad, I would say I saw about 70% of people wanting him out, 30% wanting him to stay. With Ruben Amorim, I'm so shocked at how divided I'm seeing the fan base. And maybe it's because I wouldn't say I'm chronically online, but maybe I'm going off of what I see online and when I've gone to games. But even within the people that I know that are Manchester United fans, there is a divide. Even in my family, guys, there's a divide between me and my siblings who are United fans about how we feel about the manager. Let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. He should get sacked for this comment, even if we're at the top. Lucky him. We are being run by an incompetent rat. Mainoo at his best, or Belieber at his best. I'm taking Mainoo. He could do what Belieber does, but offers more in the final third and be clutch in key moments when we need a result. Listen, I said it before. I love Belieber. I love Carlos Belieber, but we got no business going for him if we got Kobbie Mainoo, because it's like 2 sides of the same coin. Like, to an extent where I agree Kobbie is better. Belieber is good. I think he's tanking his value at the moment. I don't know what is going on with him. Are your siblings Amorim in? Yeah, one of them is. One of them is. We had a big debate about debate about the Rashford situation when it was happening, and I was not happy with one of my siblings with what they were saying. Some other information just quickly before we move on. Ruben Amorim's comments on Harry Amas, Chido Obi and Toby Collier have been viewed as disappointed by sources close to Manchester United's academy players. Well, I saw that Chido posted something on his Instagram. Again, people are, you know what's crazy is people are saying, okay, if you guys have not seen it, I think it's been deleted now. I think it's been deleted now. But Harry Amass posted this on his Instagram, a picture of himself with his Player of the Month award at Sheffield Wednesday. And then Chido posted a picture of him celebrating a goal. But we've gotten to that stage. We've gotten to that stage where academy players are clapping back at the manager via social media. And I get it. And also, can I say that people are expecting standards from these academy players, these young players, that they would expect from their seasoned professionals. How about we have that same expectation for our manager too? The same way I don't expect a player to clap back, especially an academy player that has done nothing at the club. You shouldn't be clapping back at your manager. But your manager also shouldn't be saying what he said about you in a press conference. I get it. Both sides of the situation can be, identified and ridiculed, and you can understand both sides of the argument. Again, I'm going to go back to the narrative. We would not be sitting here having this conversation if Man United weren't poor or we weren't consistently, underperforming, because we are consistently underperforming. Today, if Manchester United didn't drop points to Everton and we didn't drop points to West Ham and we didn't have that first half performance against Wolves and we swept all 3 games and picked up 9 points on the bounce and we kept a clean sheet somewhere there, trust me, no one will be sitting here having this conversation. We'd be going into Bournemouth confident. The fact that last week we went into the Wolves game, and I'm saying we, but it might not be everyone, but I saw this conversation and this discourse a lot online. This conversation of, oh my God, if we give Wolves their first 3 points. Oh my God, if we give Wolves a point. The fact that we're even having that conversation, Wolves were one of the worst teams going into that game. They are one of the worst Premier League teams that I've seen in a long time. I genuinely think they are worse than what I've seen with Sheffield United. I think they are worse than some of the previous teams that have come up like Luton. They are poor. And the reason why I'm even more shocked about Wolves is because obviously they've been in the Premier League. They're not a newly promoted team. But the fact that we were going into that game thinking, oh my God, what could happen here, just shows the bigger situation at hand. There is not one game we have gone into throughout the season. I couldn't say there's 3 games this season consistently we've gone into confident that United are going to win. When we played Brighton at home and we battered them 4-1, a lot of people were saying Brighton's our boogeyman. We're going to lose. We're going to lose. We're going to lose. Bournemouth today, a lot of people are skeptical about the result. What Ruben Amorim is saying in press conferences, for me, it's a distraction. It's a distraction from the bigger conversation, which is the performances and how Manchester United are doing. JJ Gabriel probably thinking Shea Lacey and Maino ain't getting a look in. Who has he developed? I mean, I seen this conversation about Ruben Amorim, and I think it's not fair to compare his time at Sporting to his time at Manchester United. Can I just say that? I actually don't think it's fair to compare the two when it comes to who he's promoted. I think at Sporting, there's less disposable income at your availability, meaning you are forced in a way to use more academy players and bring through academy players. When Ruben Amorim first arrived last year, he went into the transfer window and Ineos brought him a wing back. If the roles were reversed and he had just come into Sporting would have told him, you need to make do with the assets that you have right now. So dip into that academy, bring through some players. People praised Ruben Amorim the same way people praised Erik ten Hag for developing young players. But Erik ten Hag did better with his youth at Manchester United than Ruben Amorim has so far. That is the truth. But I don't think it's right to compare Sporting to Manchester United, because if he wants to go out and spend instead of bringing in a wing back from the academy, he can do that at Manchester United. He's had that opportunity to do so. The money will be available at his ready. Amorim has developed Heaven. Has Heaven developed? Has Aiden Heaven developed? Like, genuine question, because I've seen people saying he's given Heaven a debut, Frederiksen a debut, and that is true. He's given some academy players debuts, but if you've been here for 1 year and there's not one academy player that you can say or we can say has taken that step up to senior football and has shown consistent development over time, there's not one player that I could mention at the moment. And that's not me looking to slate Ruben Amorim. It's just me being like genuine with that. It's me being genuine with that. Aiden Heaven, by the way, came in ready to go to first team football. Manchester United brought him in as a starting, not a starting, as a first team player in January last year. We hired him because of what he did at Sporting. How can't we reference it? Because that's what got him a job at Manchester United. The reason why I'm saying that we can't compare the two, I'm not saying you can't reference it. I'm saying we can't compare the two is because I'm saying we've already seen maybe his hand was forced at Sporting to use academy players because of the finances available at his disposal. He came in at Manchester United, made it clear he wants to play with wing-backs, made it clear that he actually doesn't have wing-backs at his availability. And what did Ineos do? They went out and brought him a left wing-back in the January window. If the roles were reversed and he had been at Sporting and he's saying, I need a wing-back, they would have told him, go to the academy and pluck out a player from the academy and bring him through. Quenda didn't want a reunion with Ruben Amorim. Gyökeres didn't want a reunion with Amorim. Sporting got rid of like 15 players in his first summer. That's why he gave so many debuts. That's why I say, Connor, context is key. Like, context is key. We can't paint both situations with the same brush. And I don't know how you guys feel about the academy situation at Manchester United, but I said this with the Marcus Rashford situation. I said we need to have an honest conversation about Manchester United's academy situation. The path from academy to first team. Not just that, we need to have an honest conversation of whether Manchester United are creating feasible opportunities for their academy players. Are we just going to see them as an asset to sell? Are we really going to give, one academy? By the way, guys, how many academy? I think Ruben Amorim has not had an academy player in the starting 11 for a number of games. Just this season. I think the most that a manager had it, I think it was it Ten Hag had like 2 games without an academy player in his starting 11. So Amorim already has beaten that. I think there's a detachment as well in the fan base between the values of Manchester United and what they were established and built on, and the reality of what Manchester United is now. And I said this when Ineos changed the slogan from youth, courage, success to some other nonsense. I can't even remember what it is. That's when I realized, okay, maybe we ain't going to maybe it's time as fans to accept that United is not what it once was. Maybe that's the realization I'm having right now. Enough about that. Let's just quickly talk some transfer news before we get into 4-3-3 football, guys, because I know that is the hottest conversation. We've got over 100 people here. Be sure to hit the like button. I don't even know how many likes we are on. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. If you are new here, if you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. And if you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can. You can send in a super chat with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love. As an independent content creator, it goes a long way. Your support goes a long way. We've got a goal on the channel today, a super chat goal, so you can help me reach that. Or you can just do the simple thing and just hit the like button. Helps with the algorithm. And like I said, I'm going to be back consistent with the regular streams. I put most of the blame on the higher ups. It's been years our standards ain't there. Bring in academy too early. Egos like Garnacho, bring them too late. No pathways. It's full sporting directors. You know what? That is a very valid point. That is a very valid point regarding the pathways either being too early or too late. Because even when I think about people like, what's his name? Oh my God, his name's just gone. Garner, James Garner. I think of Angel Gomez. I think of quite a few players that just never got that. Alvaro Carreras never really got that chance. Too late. By the time that United were probably willing to give them a chance, they were ready to leave because they just never really got that opportunity. And then you got, the Garnacho situation, which played out very unfortunately. But again, another player that's, maybe publicly spoke out, maybe he shouldn't have. That's another thing that I don't even want to speak about. Like that I'm done and dusted with that situation. But I totally agree with the part about, players not getting a pathway or getting it too late. My biggest concern isn't Amorim anymore. He's clearly out of his depth. My concern is Wilcox and Barada. What the absolute hell are these guys doing? Well, when Barada came in and when Jim Ratcliffe appointed him, Their goal is to make Manchester United profitable. Barada's goal is a commercial goal. It's not, and yes, to an extent, the commercial situation, your finances is impacted by on-pitch performances. So the longer Manchester United stay out of European football, the more the commercial goals are impacted. You know, the more that Man United are underperforming, the more that they have to go out and spend in the windows to bring in more players to improve the team, which means they have to take out more loans, etc., etc. His goal and Ratcliffe's goal is, when Ratcliffe was by Manchester United, he said his goal was to make Manchester United profitable, commercially one of the best football teams. And to an extent, yes, on field is impacted by that. But at no point did Barada ever say, my goal is to do this. And yes, there's the 2028 goal. I think they got the 2030 WSL goal for the women's team. 2028, guys, I say this all the time, it's not that far away. We're going into, God willing, you know, we see it all with good health, yeah? We are going into 2026 in 2 weeks' time, which means we got, what, 2 seasons to win the league. We got 2 seasons after. So after this season, we got 2 seasons. By the second season, we're expected to win the league, 2028. That is not that far away. I don't think people realize, for me, how unrealistic that goal is based on how Manchester United are right now. You look at Arsenal, yeah. Arsenal, who are favourites to win the league this year. Some people might argue they should have won it. They should have won it a couple of seasons ago, right? But they've been putting down the brick. They've been laying the bricks, yeah, and laying the foundations to win the league for the best of 6 years. Do you think we are going to win the league in 2 seasons? Do you guys genuinely speaking, yeah, let me know in the chat if you agree with the 2028 goal. Like, if you think it's realistic. Because I don't think it's realistic. That's basically 4 transfer windows. 2 summer transfer windows. For me, that's not realistic at all. So when people say, oh, they're looking at Wilcox and they're looking at Barada's doing what he's been tasked to do. Make the club commercial. He's making the club commercial. I expect us to have a team challenger next season. So do I, Darren. You know what's crazy is that I can't remember the last time we've been in a genuine title race. Like, I remember that small little glimpse during COVID. I don't know if you lot remember, but I remember that small little glimpse where it looked like January, oh, we might be in a title race. But in recent years, I cannot remember what, when, where, why, how. Manchester United have not been involved in even challenging for like, we come into every season with our expectations being low. You know, because there's a saying, low expectation, having no expectations, no disappointments. So people just have a low expectations. Me coming into this season, I said, I don't even know what to expect. I didn't even know what to expect. I didn't know whether to expect us competing for top 6. I've seen people saying top 8 was their expectation. I don't know how we're going to go from saying that a top 8 finish is good enough to suddenly winning the league in the space of 2 years. And that's why I think that 2028 goal is absolutely unrealistic. Every team is inconsistent in the league. We generally have a shot this season if our players stay injury free. Come on, City's flying. Arsenal are, you know, chugging it out. They're chugging out the results. Yeah, the thing is also, can I just say with United, yeah, I always say this, guys, please, let's stop saying, you know, when we say like, oh, this team dropped points, United will never capitalize on it. If people in and around our area in the table drop points, that match day, United are not going to capitalize on it. I have stopped doing the mathematics, doing, you know, the equations to calculate how many points United need. I just take each match day as it comes. And that's what I'm doing today. That's what I'm doing with today's one. Just quickly on some transfer news. I mean, another midfielder, Man United have been linked to is Bournemouth midfielder Alex Scott. Between him and Tyler Adams is a player that we've been linked to as well. I like Alex Scott. I like him. I think he's a very good player. Another player that Manchester United has been linked to, as I mentioned, is Tyler Adams. Reportedly, his name has cropped up in Manchester United's potential midfield targets in the January transfer window or next summer at around 40 million. If we've got 40 million to spend on a midfielder in the January window, sign Lamine Kamara. Like, just go and sign Lamine Kamara. If we've got 40 million to spend. If we've got 40 million to spend. Now I know long-term Manchester United are looking at the likes of Baleba and Anderson, but Adam Wharton is reportedly valued at 18 million pounds by Crystal Palace. They're about to hit a lick when they sell him, if they sell him. And another midfielder that Man United have been linked to, I mean, it's midfield galore at this point, but another midfielder Man United have been linked to is Sunderland's midfielder Noah Siddiqui. Having contacted the player's entourage at the start of the season, Chelsea are also in the race, having reached out to Sunderland to inquire about a potential asking price. Do I think Manchester United will end up signing a midfielder in January? I have no idea. I feel like Manchester United need 2 midfielders, right? So it makes sense for us to sign one in January and the big price tag midfielder we sign in the summer. Now, my only concern is that if we get to the summer and we are still not consistently performing, that there will be other teams that will beat us in the race to sign some of the midfielders that we're linked to. For example, Anderson. I know Anderson's been linked to Manchester City as well. Baleba has been linked to a heap of teams. Adam Wharton as well. Let's be honest. If those teams come propping up, if Liverpool and Liverpool, they're not that great at the moment, but even so, Liverpool, if we face competition from other big 6 clubs outside of Spurs, I think Man United might find themselves in a tricky situation in the summer, especially if we don't qualify for Champions League. If we don't qualify for Champions League football, we will find ourselves in a very sticky situation. Another sticky situation that we're in is the fact that we got 60 likes on the video and there's over 100 of you guys. That don't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That means there's over 50 something people just watching and not hitting the like button. And if you don't want me to go on my whole emotionally manipulative, oh my God, guys, I didn't stream for X amount of weeks because I really can't be bothered to stream. I've been feeling down. I've been feeling this. If you don't want me to do that, I will do that. Or just hit the like button. Just hit the like button. It's the simple things sometimes. But yeah, Manchester United for me, 2 midfielders is definitely a necessity because I also think Ugarte will probably leave in the summer. I think Man United will maybe listen to offers for him, and I also think Casemiro might leave. I don't know where Bruno Fernandes's future lies at the club, if I'm being honest, come summertime. I don't know if he's going to look to leave by then. You know, Ruben Amorim, again, he says a lot in his press conferences, but Ruben Amorim has said in his press conference this season that Bruno Fernandes might have to expect, you know, having a rotational role next season. So if that's the case and Ugarte leaves and Casemiro leaves, Man United need to sign at least 2 midfielders. And that's with my assumption that Kobbie Mainoo remains at the club and doesn't go anywhere. On the topic of Kobbie Mainoo, Manchester United reportedly intend to reject any bids that come in for Kobbie Mainoo in January because the hierarchy believe the midfielder could have a bright future at the club. The view within the hierarchy is that Mainoo's youth and potential means his ceiling remains very high. And that he could convince Ruben Amorim or a future Manchester United manager he is worth a regular place. Even the hierarchy at Manchester United don't want to sell Kobbie Mainoo because they don't even think this manager is going to survive. Bear in mind, after this season, guys, Ruben Amorim got 1 year left on his deal. That takes me back to Project 2028. If Ruben Amorim, after this summer, has 1 year left on his deal, Ruben Amorim might not be the guy that Manchester United's hierarchy think will win us the league. And I said this when we appointed him last year. The fact that they gave him a 2.5-year contract showed me that they didn't really fully back him. Like, they didn't fully back his ideology. And it was more so a situation where he might be the manager that fixes the environment, but he might not be the manager to take you to the next place, which is winning the title. But the fact that Manchester United's hierarchy do not want to let Kobbie Mainoo go because they believe that, you know, he will either A, convince Ruben Amorim, or B, a future Manchester United manager that he's worthy of a first team spot. That just shows me that even Manchester United's hierarchy, they're not all in with Ruben Amorim's decisions. But Kobbie Mainoo leaving in January is a big possibility. Him and Joshua Zirkzee, I said this, is a big possibility of both of them leaving. And people talk about, you know, the fact that a lot of the briefs that we see tend to be about, oh, Kobbie wants to play in the World Cup. I don't think it's just the World Cup. I think it's the fact that he's losing every minute that passes that you don't play in first team football is time that you're losing in development. And that is time that you're never going to get back. You're never going to. So why should he sit on the bench for another 6 or so months in hopes of anticipating that the manager might leave, he might get sacked, he might step down, and then hope that the next manager will come in and you'll be in the priority of the pecking order of the midfield, rather than counting on that situation and rather than expecting that. You might be better off just going out to play football and to develop, because you don't want to waste it. You've already wasted, or he might feel like time has been wasted of him not developing. The same way with Harry Amas, saw the right decision was for him to go out on loan. Toby Collier going to West Brom. Shia Lacey might see it as a situation where he might have to go out on loan in January to get football, because you don't want to waste any more time than you have already wasted not playing football, because this is prime development time, especially as a young player. I think these are the ages of prime development where you can really figure out, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses, how you can adapt to physical football, senior football. And I say this all the time: if you're not playing, go out on loan. That's why when Ahmad wasn't playing at United, I was happy for him to go to Sunderland. Even when previous players weren't playing at Manchester United and they went on loan, even though they're not at Manchester United no more, those loan spells did them well to go on and play football now. The likes of Ethan Laird, the likes of Hannibal Mejbri, the likes of Alvaro Carreras, all these young players had to go out on loan. Otherwise, they would not be the players they are today. And you can argue your point about Hannibal not being a great player or Ethan Laird not playing at top level football, like Premier League level football. Alvaro Carreras, he betted on himself. He went to Preston North End, won Player of the Year, etc. Didn't get a sniff and said, you know what, I'm just going to leave because I've already done my loan spell. I've got the experience that I need. I need time to play. And if I can't do that, I can't improve. He bet on himself and he left. Now he's at Real Madrid. Real Madrid ain't that great, but he's been a shining star for them. Darren says, I get that, but some of our greatest ever academy products only became first team regulars at 22/23. But that's what I'm saying. Back then, whether they were first team regulars or not, they were still playing enough for you to have an opinion on them, right? They were still playing enough. But some people who went out on loan, like Beckham, etc., the younger players back then, even in the early 2000s, etc., they were still playing enough for us to have a common opinion on them, rather than the opinions that a lot of people have on these players now. I genuinely don't think people can judge Shia Lacey, Chido, etc., because we haven't seen them play enough. When Chido has played for Manchester United, albeit I don't think he was ready to play consistently at first team football, but he should have got those chances against the weaker, smaller teams when we've come up against them. But the unfortunate, and this is taking it back, guys, if Manchester United was winning, yeah, nobody would care about this. If we were winning when we should be, last season when we come up against the relegation teams, last season, if you played Chido, nobody would care, because you would expect your manager to rotate against the weaker teams and give the younger players some legs, let them go out and run and get some football in their legs. But it's because Man United have not been winning that when they have played, Man United, football fans, we love a saviour and we love a scapegoat. So when Kobe came on and scored that equaliser against Lyon, Manchester United fans loved the saviour. But when Chido did nothing because he was being thrown into games because Manchester United was just consistently poor, everybody loved the scapegoat. And that is the situation. And that is why I say this whole conversation about the academy players is taken away from the real context, which is Man United winning and getting results and performing well consistently. We would not be sitting here having these conversations. Let's talk. I want to talk formations. Let me see if I can bring up my tactic board, which I haven't used in a long time. Oh my God, I feel like a fraud, guys. All right, cool. Let me pull up Man United. Whoa. My tactic board has changed. What the hell has happened here? The last time I used my tactic board was against Liverpool. That's how you know it's been a long time. I need to just add my keeper quickly, and then we should be good to go. we should be good to go. All right, cool. I actually still need to make a couple of changes. What? Oh, this tactic board is not updated either. Apparently, we might have Sesko back, which will be a good opportunity. Let me share my screen so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Add Sesko in. There you go. Let me take Kobe out because you are not, the manager's not going to have you in the lineup. So our players are available. Firstly, are players from Africa. Who's planning to watch AFCON, by the way? Are you guys looking forward to AFCON? I'm looking forward to AFCON. I'm really looking forward to AFCON. This is our basic starting 11, right? This is our usual starting 11 under Ruben Amorim. Now, the biggest conversation is obviously today that Ruben Amorim pitched to the players after the Wolves game or before the Wolves game that Manchester United will shape in a 4-3-3. Now, I'm really intrigued to see how that happens because I've seen this season Manchester United play a 4-4-2 with these same players on the pitch, with these same players that play in the back in this 3-4-3. I've seen us play by simply shifting your left wing back into left back, having Ahmad shift here, having Cunha shift here, and Bumo Sesko like this. I've seen us play like this, guys, out of possession. I can't remember who it was against. So this idea that Manchester United can't play a 4-3-3, I don't think that's true. What I'm interested to see, however, is if we're going to play a 4-3-3 with a genuine back four of, fullbacks, or are we going to have the wide centre back stepping in to the right hand side, or the wide centre back on this side stepping into the left hand side, where it will be a situation like this? Could it be a situation like this, where the back four is created with Ahmad, who's playing at wing back, and having Luke Shaw step out to the left-hand side? Because I don't think this is unheard of. I don't think this is impossible. I don't think it's an impossible scenario. So this idea that Ruben Amorim can't change, if he chooses to play a 4-3-3, but it's still the same players, but the shape is just different, and I don't think, can we genuinely say that's a 4-3-3? Because I don't want to see Ahmad at right back. I don't want to see Ahmad at right back. Now, if you said to me, for example, no Sesko, I think Sesko makes or breaks this 4-3-3, right? I've put him in here for now. He might not be available. So if Cunha is forced to play as a false 9, and then Mbeumo is forced to play as a left 10, am I right in saying that Ahmad should play here as a right 10? And then in that argument, Patrick Dorgu will then have to play as a left back. Do I want to see Yoro as a right back? I mean, I've seen him defend the wide channels. I think he's good at it. But I would rather see him play here. I'd rather see him play here as a centre back, rather than playing as a right back. Now, what would be my ideal 4-3-3? I'll show you lot my ideal 4-3-3. My ideal 4-3-3 would be this. It would be Oof. This would be my ideal 4-3-3. I don't know if you guys agree with me. I don't. Let me know in the chat if you guys agree with me. But on paper, this would be my preferred 4-3-3. I would even go as far to say, right? I would even go as far to say that I wouldn't mind Joshua Zirkzee starting up top, because I've seen him play in that 4-3-3 under Ruben, even with Ruben Amorim when we played in his first game against Everton, or his second game, against Everton, when Zirkzee was having runners off of him. Now, I already have my thoughts on Cunha as a false 9. it's a bit underwhelming for me. But I think when Cunha plays, he's got a savior complex. And Mbeumo on left wing, yeah, you're right, actually. It'd have to be Ahmad on the left wing. And Ruben Amorim has argued it before, by the way. Ruben Amorim has argued before that playing Ahmad in the left 10 was possible, and he did it. He's done it twice this season now, because Ahmad has played at left 10 on international duty. He didn't play many minutes there, but he played at left 10 there, which is why we've seen him play there when Cunha has played in the 9. Yusuf says Mount deserves to start, in my opinion. Mount is a tricky conversation, right? Because Mason Mount, for me, yeah, you lot might think I'm crazy for this. Even though it's only taken, the 3rd season of his time at Manchester United, Mount is one of Man United's tidiest passers. Mason Mount, for me, knows how to take care of the ball, is responsible with having the ball, and is very cautious when he has the ball, meaning he will make the right pass most of the time. The only reason why I think Mount doesn't get as much praise as maybe he should do, it's probably because it's his 3rd season at Manchester United, and we should have been seeing these performances, but he's not been consistently fit. And I think, with the price tag and the wages, etc., it's been frustrating. I love Cunha, but he isn't a striker nor false 9. Rather have Xerxes or Mbeumo, if not Sesko. Now, it's been reported that Sesko is trying his best to be fit. Now, if we're going off of full availability, Xerxes in the 9, again, he hasn't played enough football for me. So when I criticize, I don't want to criticize what I've seen from him. And he's another player who has been overthinking things when he has the ball. But I can't expect match readiness from a player that has not played consistent football. I think it would be harsh of me to really expect that. It's tough because when we lose Ahmad and Brian, we don't really have a right winger. I mean, I can't imagine who we play at right wing. Like genuinely speaking, even if we're not playing, if we were playing the back 5 nonsense, right? Yeah. No, if we're imagining life, AFCON life, yeah, which means these two are not available. I'm thinking, okay, what are we actually going to do? Are we going to play Dorgu at left wing back, and then Dallo at right wing back, and then are we going to play Bruno in one of the 10s, and I guess Cunha in one of the 10s, or Mount in one of the 10s? Is this what we're going to have? I'm putting Maino there, but he probably might not even play. It might even be Ugarte with Ruben Amorim's decisions. I put Sesko there by accident. I was meant to put Cunha there. Is this what we might see? Or Ruben Amorim might even say, you know what? I'm sticking with my midfield, and I'm going to put Mount there. And I'll put Mount there. Well, this team stinks. Yo, this starting 11 is smelly. Oh my God. Yeah, that's not a starting 11 that's scoring goals. Why am I just realizing it, guys? Excuse my language, but why am I just realizing now this is a spooky lineup? And you know what's funny, guys? I've seen people saying that they want Ivory Coast and Cameroon and Morocco. Like, they want everyone to basically crash out of AFCON so their players can come home. I think I'm the opposite. I want them to go like as far as they possibly can. Maybe because I'm from Africa, so I want AFCON to be treated with respect. But I don't want anyone to, I don't want Cameroon to be crap just so that Mbeumo can come back quickly, or Ivory Coast so that Ahmad can come back quickly. I want them all to do well. Obviously, only one team can do well at the end of it, because really and truly, Man United are going to miss these lot for at least Villa away next Sunday, Newcastle at home on Boxing Day, Wolves at home on the 30th, and then probably Leeds. And then if they go on to, if any of these lot go to the final, so Cameroon or Ivory Coast or Morocco, we'll miss them for Burnley, we'll miss them for the Brighton FA Cup game, and Man City game, because AFCON finishes 18th of January. So they can miss up to 7 games if they're gone for AFCON. If they're gone for AFCON, they can miss that much. But I don't think this starting 11 is spooky. But the starting 11 for 4-3-3, which has been hinted at today, if it's Luke Shaw at left back, I don't mind. Genuinely speaking, I do not mind. I don't mind Luke Shaw at left back. I mean, it's been a while since he's actually played there. But he is, for me, more of a left back than Patrick Dorgu is. And then if we put Mazraoui, we still don't know about Mazraoui's availability. We just know that Ahmad and Mbeumo are both available. So I'm going to put Mbeumo here on the right and then Ahmad here on the left. I'm going to assume Bruno in the 10. I'm going to assume wishful thinking, Kobe there, but that's just wishful thinking. And again, like I said, I wouldn't mind. Like I said, Luke Shaw hasn't played left back for a while now. But he's more of a natural left back for me than Patrick Dorgu. The manager could opt for Diego Dallo. He could opt for that as well. He could opt for Diego Dallo at right back as well. The biggest conversation is obviously about this 4-3-3 situation. Are we winning today, Mina? Great question, man. Great question. Well, let's look at Bournemouth firstly. Yeah, Bournemouth are not looking good at the moment, guys. Bournemouth are not looking good at the moment. They drew to Chelsea. They lost to Everton. They lost to Sunderland. They drew to West Ham, lost to Villa, lost to City. Bournemouth haven't won since the 26th of October. They have not won since. Bournemouth for me is always a scrappy team, yeah, because when you don't watch them, wow, they're flying, yeah. And then you watch them on a 2 p.m. kickoff on a Sunday, or they got the 5:30 slot on a Saturday, and you're thinking, what the hell? Like me, Bournemouth was one of my favorite teams to watch last season. I loved watching Bournemouth when they had Otara. Obviously, they had Semenyo, they had Dean Howson, they had Kirkes. I enjoyed them, and then I watched them get slapped by Nottingham Forest last season, and I was like, what the hell? Bournemouth are a weird boogeyman team. But the truth is, they have not been playing well. And they've been conceding goals at least 2 per game in the last 6 games. They conceded 1 against Everton. They conceded 3 against Sunderland. They conceded 2 against West Ham. They conceded 4 against Villa. They conceded 3 against Manchester City. And then obviously they beat Nottingham Forest on the 26th of October. So on paper, we should be beating them, right? But you guys know that what is on paper and Manchester United, in reality, it's never the case. It's never the case. Another thing that's never the case is the fact that I'm not even on 100 likes yet, guys. What the hell, man? Come on, guys. There's over 100 people here. We're only on 83 likes. That's not nice, guys. You know the rules on the channel. You come in, you wipe your feet, you say hi to everyone in the chat, and then you hit the like button. You guys know the rules here. It's simple, but you have to do it. You have to do it. Otherwise, I'm just going to go on strike. I'm going to go on mute and just not speak for until we hit 100 likes. I'm just not going to talk. I think you guys would actually like that because I talk too much. But anyways, predictions. Let me see if there's any news leading up to the game right now. Let's just have a look just to see if I've missed anything. Nope. I hate, by the way, Monday night kickoff, guys. Monday night football. I don't know if you lot like it. I don't like Monday night football. I don't like sitting around all weekend watching everybody else, yeah? Waiting for my team to win. I don't like that. And I also don't like the fact that Monday night football means everyone's going to watch it. You know, sometimes if you're on at 3 p.m. kickoff bit on a Saturday, yeah? Not everyone's going to watch that. Monday night football, it's a long day. Everyone's gone to school, gone to work, come home. You want to watch TV on a Monday night? Oh, Man United's playing. Let's watch them and laugh. I hate it. It's 12:30 kickoffs, yeah? I don't like it, but also I don't mind it sometimes. Because, for example, some people I know sleep in on a Saturday morning, right? They might not wake up and watch the first half of the game if they're not Man United fans. They might not get out of bed to watch the game. Me, on a Saturday, I'm up at 8 o'clock anyways. But if a rival is playing at 12:30, I won't always think, I'm going to go watch that and hate. Sometimes I might be like, you know what, I want to go out for brunch. Let me go out for brunch instead. Monday night football is the worst. It's the worst. It's like 4:30 on a Sunday. I don't mind. It's Super Sunday and it's the big game. I hate Monday Night Football. And the fact that we've been on 3 in the last 4. Did we lose? So we beat West Ham. No, we lost to Everton. And then we beat Wolves, right? So we're 1-1. We are 1-1 on Monday Night Football in the last couple of weeks. This game is the decider. And I genuinely couldn't tell you what the result will be. Let's look at Bournemouth's most recent starting 11, yeah? I want to look at their against Chelsea. This was their starting 11 against Chelsea. Semenyo, left wing, obviously, he's the biggest name that everybody's talking about coming into this game, rightfully so. Evan Nilsson will be... I'm very intrigued to see how Iriola uses Evan Nilsson against Man United centre-backs. Are they going to do what Everton did with Barry... what West Ham did. What West Ham did with Wilson and Bowen. I want to see if Bournemouth will do the same, because if any manager watched Manchester United against West Ham showed you how you can play against Manchester United. Everton showed you how you can play against Manchester United's backline. And I promise you lot, we're going to come back to this clip here. I'm going to come back to this stream tomorrow or in the reaction video. If Iriola learned anything from those games where Manchester United played West Ham or Everton, he will pin Evan Nilsson against the central centre-back or wide centre-backs, and he will make his wingers come in against the wide centre-backs, which is what West Ham did with Bowen, with Wilson. Everton did it as well. And it's just simple. Put your centre-back physically against the central centre-back. Force the wide centre-backs to step out. Invade the space. Invade the space. And that's what I'm worried about. That is, for me, my biggest worry. But in terms of prediction, I ain't even going to predict the scoreline. I don't predict scorelines. I don't do predictions anymore. I'm just hoping it's Old Trafford. It's Monday Night Football, 8 o'clock. You're forcing fans to come to Old Trafford in the cold on a Monday night. The least you can do is play good football. That is the least you can do. But listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well if you're new here. By the way, guys, let me just show you lot this, because I actually didn't. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you wouldn't know. I won another award, guys, if you can read that. Can you read that? I think you can. You might be able to read it there. I won another award. You lot are probably thinking, what? Yeah, I did. I'm like Manchester United in 2008, guys. I'm like Manchester United in 2008. I won 2 awards this year. I hate the fact that they're see-through because you can't really see it. But I won an award 2 weeks ago, I think it was now. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. I won an award for Women in Media at the annual Muslim Women Awards. So shout out to them and shout out to everyone that nominated me as well. But listen, guys, I will be back. Obviously, tonight we'll have a... let me just fix my camera quickly. We will have a match reaction, obviously, immediately after the game. Literally straight away after the game, we will have a reaction video as always. So make sure you guys check that out. I might do... If you don't... Do you guys want to see a tactical video? Do you want to see a tactical video with the tactical board? If that's of interest to you, please let me know. And I can do that. Whether Man United win or lose, I can definitely do that kind of video. We will have a watch along on Wednesday for Manchester United Women's Champions League game. Of course, we will have content dropping throughout the week as well. Daily Dose of Minnow, I'll be live every single day as well. So I'll catch you lot tomorrow if I don't do the tactical video. And yeah, make sure you lot hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. I apologize for the absence that I've done for so long, but we are back now with the regular streams. So yeah, make sure you guys subscribe. We are on the road to 20K. The goal is to get there before the end of the year. I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe in January we will go. We will get there. United play 8 p.m. No predictions here, but I'm predicting a win. Hopefully, I'm out, guys. Have a good one. Peace. Oh, shout out to MUFC 14 for the super chat. Thank you so much. My brother says congratulations. I appreciate it. I'm out, guys. Have a great one. Come on, Manchester United. Peace.